This is not scripted, nor did I really plan this at all. I kind of just spur of the moment sat down and decided this needed to be filmed and this needed to be done now. So I apologize if it's not perfect word for word how you may like it, or organized to the full capacity that it could be if I were to have sat down and scripted this, but it's not, and I don't care because this is coming from my heart and that's how this video is going to be. So if you aren't a fan of that, I apologize. This video probably also isn't going to be very edited. It might be very long cuts. It might not be all chopped up like usual, but that's how it's going to be, because the topic I'm talking about is way more important to me than making sure this video is pristine. I want to start out by saying that this video is not perfectly lit. The audio is probably bad. I am not looking my very best because I just decided to sit down and film this. And that's the reality of chronic illness. Not on a runway during Paris Fashion Week, labeled as attention seeker. You heard that right. A fashion company decided to label their clothing line as attention seeker and feature a girl walking down the runway wearing a shirt that said sick across the front, carrying an IV pole with an IV in her arm. This is disgusting, and if you don't find it disgusting, listen up or click out of this video, because there's something seriously wrong if you don't find this disturbing and disgusting. Now, that's disturbing to me and disgusting on so many levels that a clothing company or a company in general would take chronic health and health issues and further glamorize it to the public. There have been so many things, mobility aids and like face masks, like protective masks and things like that have been turned into fashion or have been mocked or have been just used for attention of the company. And to further prove my point, I'll put in a screenshot right here of a picture of them labeling their line as attention seeker, which if you already didn't find it disturbing, that should do it for you. I would do anything to have a healthy body, have an able body, to go back to how I was 4 years ago, being perfectly healthy, perfectly active, and everything. I would do anything to be able to do that. And have people and companies like this putting stuff out, glamorizing and making it seem like this amazing thing, having companies do like hangover infusions for when you're hungover, and oh my gosh, you see these people posting photos of them getting an infusion in their home to cure their hangover. That bothers me. That bothers me a lot, because there's people that need infusions and medications and all of these things to live their normal life. And by labeling something as intention seeker, you're implying that we chose this. We didn't choose this life. We would never have chosen this life if we had that choice. So by calling us attention seekers, you're implying that choice that we didn't have. And that's in and of itself should not have been said, let alone including this person in your show, in your line. And directing my next comment towards Paris Fashion Week, I am severely disappointed in you. Very disappointed, actually. I used to enjoy seeing what different clothing lines and what different models were wearing on the runway in Paris Fashion Week, and now I'm just disturbed at the fact that you would allow something so hurtful and so minimalizing and just overall disturbing towards people with chronic illness to be featured as fashion during Paris Fashion Week. That is something that severely disturbs me as somebody with chronic illness. So many people nowadays are using protective face masks, oxygen cannulas, IV poles now, mobility aids, all of these things that us in the chronic illness community have fought so hard to get these life-saving devices for ourselves. And to just see companies take them and use them as fashion accessories is so wrong, and I don't understand why people don't see that as being so wrong. And it shouldn't be like that. And now to have this picture and video come up of this girl modeling for this company, walking down, she's more like prancing down a runway. That's the best word. You see this girl, this model for this company, prancing down a runway with her IV pole in hand, wearing a shirt that says sick and labeled as attention seeker. It's just, I don't have words to put together how hurt it makes me feel, how disturbing, disgusting, how I really don't have words for it. It just needs to stop. All of these companies taking illnesses or taking crises. For example, literally last week there was another clothing line that featured schools with bullet holes in their sweatshirts. They featured a line of sweatshirts that had Sandy Hook, Columbine, all of these schools that were victims of school shootings with bullet holes in them on their runway show. That's disturbing. That is disgusting. That should not be something that had happened. And now, this week, we are seeing a model taking our health, walking down the runway, agreeing to walk down the runway in a show labeled attention seeker as a sick person. No words for it. I really don't have words for it. It's just so disgusting. It's beyond my ability to think about what these people went through. Like, I want to know their thought process and what made them think that this was an okay idea, that this was their $1 million idea. Like, oh my god, we have to do this. Like, this is something never been done before. No, you're hurting people. And what's even worse is they're not addressing the criticism that they're getting, and they're not addressing the people who are messaging them and commenting on their post about what they did and how hurtful it is. They're only commenting a black heart emoji, nonetheless. They aren't saying anything, they're just doing that, and I feel like that's honestly making them look worse by not addressing their critics and their criticism to back up and say, hey, maybe this isn't what we were trying to do, maybe we were trying to do this. No, they're not saying anything. They're posting a black heart like, hey, yeah, we did this. You may think it sucks, but here's a black heart. We don't care about what you're saying. That's the message that what they're responding to everyone is putting out. I took it upon myself to write a comment on one of their posts. This is the post. And their caption was, you see what you want to see. And what I saw as a chronically ill human being was apparently a fashion line exploiting those with chronic illness, using them to get attention, claiming that us being sick and needing those IV treatments or needing to be in the hospital or using any type of medication or aid to help us live is attention seeking, which no, it's not attention seeking. It's us trying to live our lives as normal as possible with the conditions that we have been faced and with the life that we've been given at this point. And no, to those who have made comments on their posts trying to side with the fashion companies, saying things like, oh, well, I'm glad to start to see representation in the modeling industry for people that are sick. I'm glad to see medical devices on the runway. No, you are not seeing a positive representation of medical devices and sick people on a runway. No, you are seeing an unattainable body type walking down the runway, prancing. She's not walking, she's prancing down the runway. You are seeing her walking down the runway, an IV not even into her arm. It is literally just being used as a fashion accessory, and nothing stated that this is to raise any type of awareness for illness. This is raising awareness for those who are attention seeking. So no, to those people who are saying that they are glad to see representation on the field, I'm sorry that this is the representation that you're looking for, but no, it's not. If there was an actual disabled model on that runway, someone who actually may have needed a treatment or a mobility aid such as a wheelchair, then sure, use them as a model. Make your whole show about raising awareness. Make your whole show about destigmatizing these things and not glamorizing illness, but being more of an inclusive campaign, like your clothing line is inclusive, we want you to model for us even though you have this, this, and this that a normal fashion agency wouldn't want. But no, they featured an unattainable body type, stereotypical model with a fake IV on her arm as her fashion accessory on the runway, which again is sickening in and of itself. Even if you don't have chronic illness, this should affect you too. This does affect you because it's something that you can help change and that you can help keep from happening again and again and again. Because going back to last week, what happened with those sweatshirts, so many people agreed that they were morally wrong, that this company was disgusting, that this company was taking a tragedy and trying to profit off of it. Well, fast forward to now, this company is doing the exact same thing, but with people's health and something that people can't change, and profiting off of it and gaining attention, whether it's good or bad. They're gaining attention. Yes, me making this video is giving them attention, but hopefully negative attention, because honestly, I don't support you if you support what they just did. We are stuck trying to adapt in a world that's inaccessible and unadaptable for those that are different. And no, seeing a model with an IV pole on a runway is not going to bring awareness to people with chronic conditions unless people do things about it. That company wanted profit. That company literally just wanted attention and profit. They weren't trying to raise awareness. They were not trying to be inclusive at all, even in the slightest. If they come back at me and respond to my comment, like I really hope they do, claiming to be inclusive, I want to know why they didn't use actually disabled or sick models. I mean, I'm taking a guess here and I am assuming that she was able, which I know is wrong, but until I know, like if they tell me, hey, this girl actually does have an illness, that's why we used her, then that's awesome. But seeing a fakely taped IV pole leads me to believe otherwise, that she wasn't actually hooked up to an IV. It was literally just used as an accessory, it was used as a handbag. This fashion company used an IV pole like a handbag, and that is so wrong. Again, I will repeat it louder for those in the back, that you cannot use me or my ailments as an accessory. This company is using IV poles as an accessory. I am not your aesthetic. This hashtag was created by a girl on Instagram. If she gives me permission to leave her Instagram, I will leave it right here. This hashtag was created by a girl on Instagram who is also in the chronic illness community, and it speaks louder than any words that I can say. I am not your aesthetic. My illness is not your visco filter. My ailments are not your ways to profit. I am not your aesthetic. I am not your Instagram photo of you sitting at an oxygen bar with your nose cannula breathing in essential oils. I am not your Instagram photo of you getting your at-home IV to cure your hangover. No, I'm me, and I'm living my chronic illnesses that may involve those things for real and for a real purpose to help with my life and my quality of life. A hangover is a choice. You go out drinking, that's your choice. You choose to get drunk, again, your choice. You have a hangover, good for you. Deal with it yourself. You don't need an IV to fix it. You are walking on a boardwalk or wherever these things are now, and you see an essential oil oxygen bar, cool, your choice to purchase 5 minutes of it to breathe in essential oils. People with chronic illness pay for these life-saving tools and essentials thousands of dollars. Those IV infusions, $100 daily. And to just see these things being used as accessories or to get you likes on Instagram is unfair, and it's not right, and it shouldn't happen. And I just want more awareness to be brought to this issue, because I am not your aesthetic, and this hashtag is so prominently needed right now because of what we're seeing in social media right now, and I want it everywhere. I want this hashtag literally to be everywhere, and I don't know how I'm gonna do it, but I'm gonna get it there because I love this girl who created this hashtag. Don't even know her, didn't know her account existed until I saw this hashtag shared, and I love it, and I want it out there, and I want it shared. If by the time I upload this video I receive any type of response other than a black heart, I will include it in here. I don't foresee me seeing a response. If anything, I can see myself becoming blocked on their account because right now I'm kind of sending waves of people to like my comment, and I can understand by seeing how they've handled their other hate comments that they would be the type to block and not respond, which is a little immature, especially coming from a company. But again, if I receive any type of response, I will include it. I find it crazy that I even have to make this video, but I am so enraged at this point that I needed to take it further than what I had already done. Yes, I made a comment on Instagram. Yes, I was trying to get my followers to get my comment out there and get more people seeing that this is wrong. But to me, that's not enough. I need this to get out there. I need this to reach more people. Granted, it's probably only gonna reach like 50 people, but I need it out there to those 50 people because those 50 people can get it out to a person each, and then we have 100 people and so on. I just want this to get out there, and I want these companies to realize that what they're doing is wrong, and I want a freaking response. I don't want a black heart as a response to what is going on right now. I do not want a black heart emoji. I don't want any color heart emoji. I don't want a freaking emoji. I want words. I want a response, and I want it now, and I want to know how they're going to back up what they did, because it is so morally incorrect and wrong, and I just really do not even understand what went on in their vision boarding or their planning for what they were going to do for Paris Fashion Week. Because if this was their winning idea, I'm concerned for what their other ideas could be. Moral of the story, I am not your aesthetic, and IV poles are not like handbags. Any life-saving device is not like a handbag. It is not an accessory. It is not something that should be used in a fashion runway unless it is being used for awareness. Point blank. Unless something is being used for awareness, it should not be used. You're gonna offend people, you are going to hurt people, and you're going to cause a lot of uproar and issue just for yourself. And honestly, that should just be common sense, that if you're entering any type of touchy subject, chronic illness being one, because there are many of us out there with several, that if you are going to use an IV pole, or if you're going to use a wheelchair, a walker, a cane, an oxygen thing, a feeding tube, anything, any type of aid to somebody's life should not be used as an accessory. But do not, and I repeat, do not ever use an item like that, a life-saving tool and a quality of life tool, as an accessory. Do not. I want this to change, and I want this to change now.